Bonjour beauties and welcome back to my channel, Bonjour Yên. I may or may not have Asian glow by the end of this video, slash maybe tipsy, hopefully not, but whatever, I guess we shall see. So for this week's video, I'm going to be sharing my first video for my series Transcendent. And so Transcendent is going to be really me just sharing my stories and experiences as a trans femme non-binary person who also happens to be HIV positive but undetectable, which I will leave a description of what undetectable means below, but I will dive into that later. So this series is definitely going to be a bit more serious, but hopefully insightful. At some point I also hope to get other people from my community onto this series as well to like share their stories in like their own way as well, just because I think it's super important to have various narratives out there, just because each of our stories are so different from one another, and I just don't think a lot of people are aware of that. And so I chose the name Transcendent for this series because not only is the word trans in it, okay, little cheesy, but I just feel like the word is so relevant to the trans community because the world is still doing the most to oppress and, you know, keep us down from flourishing and thriving. But yet at the same time, like I see so many of my siblings doing so well and like despite all the odds against them, and I just think that's so powerful and amazing and just like resonates so well with the word transcendent. And plus it's like kind of catchy, and I just want the power and meaning of this word to fill up the energy of like my videos for the series, and hopefully for those who watch it, it spreads to them as well and helps uplift and empower them in their everyday lives in being transcendent. So for my first Transcendent video, the first thing I wanted to talk about is why and how I chose my new name, Ian. So it's been about almost a year now since I've announced my name change. It's kind of crazy and insane to think about because a year isn't that long of a time, but for some reason it feels like it's been forever since I've been Ian. I think that says a lot about the name that I ended up choosing, and thank goodness it feels this way. But prior to my name change, I was contemplating about it for a long time. First, I like just didn't know which name to choose. I just hadn't come across anything that like really resonated with me. And second, I was like deep into like branding as like this old persona or brand before, which is like so silly thinking about it now. I was like so concerned. I was like, but no one's gonna like know who I am anymore and blah blah blah, but like no one really cared, to be honest. Prior to my name change, I was trying to make my birth name like gender neutral, which, you know, in the end I tried. It just wasn't working out. It was so much work. People kept misgendering me and I was just like constantly triggered, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't do this anymore. Thankfully, this was, you know, my limit was being reached at a time where I was like getting really close to my decision on choosing my new name. And so it all kind of worked out in the end, but oh my gosh, it was so stressful and like mentally and emotionally just like aggravating on top of like, you know, other life stresses. Thanks for trying, Ian, but like silly you. And so in this video, I'm choosing not to mention my birth name, only because it is no longer relevant to my present and future life. Not to say that I lived a terrible life prior to my name change, you know, I'm very fortunate to have like super loving and accepting family members and friends who have been super supportive of me throughout my transition and, you know, have been transitioning with me. My birth name is just something that I would much rather leave behind with everything else. All the things that I've dismantled and overcome to get to this point in my life right now, and my current mental and emotional state, which is, you know, currently happy. Oh my goddess. And it's just like, even just thinking about my name makes my skin crawl, and like when people still call me by that name, it like, it just like makes me want to jump off into the Hudson River and like hopefully like, I don't know, whatever pollution is in there like melts me into like nothingness. Like that's how bad it like makes me feel. Personally, I honestly never felt it was the right name for me growing up. I'm like, this name just doesn't fit me. And it just doesn't feel right. Like this is, my birth name just like did not embody any part of my soul and my true essence. For the most part, people no longer call me by my birth name, but my family members still call me by my dead name every now and then. Oh my god. I know is not their intention, and I know that they're trying their best. It just gotten to a point where I'm just like tired of having to correct myself every single time. So it's just now like I just honestly I ignore them until they correct themselves, just because like I don't want to further enable or give any power in life to my dead name and make my family members think that it's still okay to call me by that name. You know, it's very, very triggering, because also in addition to that, you know, I still often get misgendered by some family members, and like that, getting misgendered and getting called by my dead name is just like, it makes me spiral every single time. It just like all the work that I've done to get to this point, you know, with further feminizing myself physically and getting to the point where I always saw myself is like destroyed within a second. And I just start to have thoughts of like, oh my god, it's like, am I still like manly looking? Do I look like a man? Do I look masculine? Do I not look feminine anymore? Do I look like a he? And it's just like, it is like a dark spiral of like gender dysphoria and body dysmorphia, and I can't. So, for any family members watching this, you know, just an FYI, please be a little bit more mindful and cautious. I know y'all are trying and I appreciate it, just to let y'all know. So Yên, my new name, is Vietnamese and it means peace, according to my mom. Just to clarify again with everyone, it's not Yen, although it's totally fine if you call me that, but just please don't think that I named myself after the Japanese currency, because that's really embarrassing and like totally weird and cheesy. And you know, another refresher, it's pronounced Yên because the Y in Vietnamese is pronounced like E. I came to the decision to choose Yên for my new name because it's always been like my unofficial Vietnamese name. And then once I like remembered that like my unofficial Vietnamese name is Yên, I was like, oh my gosh, wait, hold up, like this is kind of perfect, because Yên is more of a femme name over in Vietnam. So it's not a masculine name at all. My official birth name is Yên, but it's spelled I-A-N, and my parents chose that name because they were like inspired by the Vietnamese version of Yên, Y-E-N. You know, contemplating it further, I was like, this is like so perfect and kind of meant to be, because I just felt that it was pretty symbolic of like me and like my personal transition from being a cis male, just thinking about it, to now my truthful trans femme non-binary goddess self. I was just like, what? I was so mind blown by my own like revelation and discovery. It's kind of like the universe was like predicting my true being and like knew who I really was or whatever. And so in addition to like that symbolic meaning, I also chose it because, you know, it's Vietnamese, and like growing up, like I was the only person in my family that didn't have an official Vietnamese name. And every time I asked my mom, I was like, why? Like, why didn't I get a Vietnamese name? I wanted one so badly. She would explain to me the whole story of like Yên being based off like the Vietnamese Yên, and I would just like roll my eyes. Okay, wow, that lighting was terrible. I'm so sorry y'all had to sit through that. Thank you for those who are still watching right now. Back to the story. And so choosing Yên was also like a way for me to reclaim my Vietnamese culture, because I did grow up in suburban Pennsylvania where it is predominantly white, and you know, growing up there and being born there, there's a lot of assimilating and aspiring to like basically be as like white as possible, or to be just like them. There was a lack of appreciation for Vietnamese culture growing up. And you know, thinking about it and like looking back, it really makes me sad and upset of how much I totally disregarded and like put aside like my Vietnamese culture and values. And I know it's different now, and I didn't know any better back then. It breaks my heart. I just like can't help but shake my head at little younger me. In addition to like reclaiming my culture, it's also a way for me to like honor my Vietnamese culture as well. Whenever I'm part of certain projects and my name is being published, I make sure that the accent mark above the E in my name is there. It's so important to me because like growing up, like I spent so much of my time and energy trying to assimilate to Western culture and trying to be like them and trying to do what's convenient for them. And you know, totally neglecting, you know, my true Vietnamese heart and soul. And so these days I just refuse to like, you know, have publications or projects publish my name without the accent, which I know may sound not significant to a lot of people, but for me it is. It means so much. Because that's my name, you know? And you know, it's not Yen, it's Ian with the accent mark. Thankfully now people are so much more accommodating and respectful in regards to like these matters. Hi mẹ. Đang quay phim cho YouTube. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, cái phim này con nói about tên của con and like why I chose it and stuff. And, you know, for those who are watching this video and contemplating a name change, you know, take your time. You know, it's a super important decision, and of course you can always change it later if you know you're not feeling this one or the next one. But you know, just find something that really resonates with you and embodies who you are and who you want to be in this new chapter of your life. And you know, with this decision, try not to get too caught up in thinking about what name is going to be more convenient for others, because if they truly love you and support you, they will go along with this transition with you. And you know, as outsiders, I feel like we've spent so much time of our lives thinking about the comfort of others while sacrificing our own truth and well-being. And so I honestly think that, you know, we deserve to be selfish in this moment and in this decision in regards to our name change. And so just remember that this is for you and not for anyone else. So I still haven't like legally changed my name yet, which I'm still waiting to do, only because I haven't chosen a middle name yet. Although I'm kind of like, now that I'm thinking about it, do I even like need a middle name to change it? I don't know. This is probably something I should probably do a little bit more research on. But I was thinking of maybe something like Lilith. So dark and seductive and sensual, but I don't know. It needs to be something like ethereal or fierce, kind of like a video game character. You know, growing up I loved Japanese RPGs and like I'm still obsessed with them. I just like remember all the character names and how like otherworldly they are, and I was like, oh my gosh, I wish I had a cool name like this. Instead I had some like basic cis man name. I'm super looking forward to the day and moment that I do get to change my name legally, and I'm also planning to change my gender marker as well. For the moment, I'm gonna do F just because for me, I see F as femme rather than female. But once like, you know, a third gender option or other gender option comes out, I will probably change it to that in the future. And I just want to say to those who have known me prior to my name change and who are still in my life, thank you so much for transitioning with me during this process. I know it's not easy because there have been a lot of changes, but all your efforts and hard work is so appreciated, and it honestly means the world to me. And I'm so thankful and fortunate to know and have all y'all in my life still. And so, you know, that's kind of like the gist behind Ian and like how and why I've chosen it. And now here they are, your favorite full-time goddess. And if y'all liked this video, please don't forget to like and comment and subscribe down below. Also, if you're subscribed, please feel free to put on the bell notification so that whenever I do upload new content, you are all notified and all my hard work doesn't go to waste. Oh yes, also, since I've never made a formal announcement, I just want to let y'all know that I will be releasing a video every single Tuesday, unless noted otherwise. And if I can, I will upload more videos, which will probably be on a Thursday. I will do my best to do more. Au revoir! I'll see y'all soon in my next video.